We're at our garage and test facility. Let's push the magic button, open the door, and see what we're driving this week. Maybe I'm on the A-list again. Looks like we got ourselves a Lexus LS500, top of the line luxury flagship. Lucky me. And it appears we have the hybrid version. That's right, this big land yacht is a hybrid. So let's take a closer look. We also test drove this Lexus LS500 non-hybrid, if you want to compare the fuel economy. And this Lexus RX 450h hybrid. We'll have a link to both of these videos at the end of this video. Just go to the end, click and watch. Now you're getting 3 tests for the price of 1. Free. The standard LS500 has a 3.5-liter V6 engine, putting out 416 horsepower. Fuel economy is rated at 19 in the city, 30 on the highway, and 23 overall. This hybrid also has a 3.5-liter V6, but it puts out less at 354 horsepower. Fuel economy is rated at 25 in the city, 33 on the highway, with 28 overall. We're going to rack up about 500 to 600 miles on this rig to see if it's true. Just for the record, in the non-hybrid LS500 we tested last year, we got 15 mpg in the city and hard driving, around 19 average, and 26 to 27 on the highway. Keep those figures in mind, and we'll talk about these figures for this car a little bit later. Before we go any further, you might be interested in the price tag. We're going to take this off the window and take a closer look. The price starts at $79,980. But by the time they were done, it jumped up to $116,495. Wowee. $3,000 extra for safety nannies, $1,500 for the adaptive air suspension, $2,450 for the bigger 20-inch wheels, $300 for the LED headlights. Down at the bottom, we have $380 for a cargo mat. That's ridiculous. That should be standard. And $1,940 for that powerful stereo system. But here comes the whopper. These are small items. Here it is, folks, the executive package with, is it curl co-glass? I don't know how to pronounce that. Quilted, perforated, semi, leather interior trim, 28-way power seats with a massage function, ultra suede headliner. Well, you can read all this yourself. You can also read the price. No, it's not a misprint. $23,080 for that. $23,000 for a fancy interior with massaging seats. And now you can understand why the price jumped up from 80 grand to 116 grand. So let's take a look at this $23,000 cabin. Here's some of it right here, the fake diamonds and the quilting here. In the back we have the massage seats. And here are the controls. And you lower the center console. Here are the controls for the massage function. As you may have noticed, this is a very large vehicle, but inside you only have room for 4 passengers, 2 in front and 2 in the rear. There's a lot of space for them, though, so they'll at least be comfortable. And if you're expecting a lot of room in the trunk, you're going to be disappointed. Not too much is going to fit in here, at least for a car of this size. There's adequate room in the glove box, but only if you take out the super thick owner's manual like I did. You put the owner's manual in there, you have room for nothing else. Put it in the trunk. You're not going to read it anyway, right? The non-hybrid LS500 gets a 10-speed automatic. The hybrid gets a CVT automatic transmission. Either way, I'm not a fan of the shifter, mainly because of the separate button for park. If you're going to put buttons in a car, put buttons for everything. Park, reverse, drive. Otherwise, make it a regular shifter without this separate button. It doesn't make any sense. And unlike other Lexus models that have a control stick for the infotainment system, this uses a touchpad for your finger. It doesn't work very well. Okay to use if you're sitting still, but when you're driving at 70 miles per hour, this just doesn't work very well. It takes a lot of getting used to. But with a bit of practice, here are your choices you can bring up. And your map. And your reverse camera. Looks nice. Very big. This is the most important control you'll be using. It controls Eco, Comfort, Custom, Normal, Sport, and Sport Plus modes. And here you can see the difference on the gauge as you change the modes. This is Normal, Sport, Sport Plus. You also have your heads-up display, which is easier to see in the dark than on the camera at the daytime. We'll take this out at night later. I don't remember if the suspension is air or hydraulic. I do know if you press this button you can raise or lower the suspension, which means you can raise and lower the car. I haven't messed with this much. I'll look at this a bit later. This 2400 watt 23 speaker system sounds great, but I can't demonstrate it because the last time I played music on my YouTube channel I got a nasty email from Google saying I was violating copyright laws. And not to do it again, so they don't mind when I play the Mexican channels from Mexico. This concludes part 1 of our video, show and tell. Let's go to part 2 and do some driving. We'll start by taking these fancy headlights out and see what they do in the dark. It's dark enough. Let's take these headlights out, see what they do. Look pretty bright to me. Here we have the low beams, only building 100 feet away. Good brightness, good height. Go to high beam. Looks pretty good to me. Here we have the high beams, only building 300 feet away. Very bright, widespread, 100% great. And we go to low beam, just barely reaches out. These are excellent headlights, no doubt about that. Here's what the reverse camera looks like in the dark, and it looks like I've gathered some mud and water from the roads out here. So it's a little blurry. But that's not important. That can be wiped off. What is important is it lights up very well. Very good distance. And I notice when you turn the steering wheel left or right, we get side lights. Comes in handy when taking corners or driving around in dark parking lots. And here we have the heads-up display. A lot easier to see in the dark, if you're using a camera anyway. It does light up pretty good in the daylight. Just doesn't come on the camera in daylight very well. And if you want, the camera will do a 360-degree scan. Lexus did an excellent job of designing this suspension. This is a very comfortable vehicle to drive if you have it in the normal or comfort mode. That's the good news. The bad news is all Lexus LS500s come with run-flat tires, and on the non-hybrid car, the noise and thumping on potholes, the ride was just horrible. I know a lot of people that took the run-flats off and put regular tires on their LS500s to get it back up to the comfort they were expecting. Even though this hybrid has run-flat tires, I was surprised. The ride is rather smooth. Not as rough as on the non-hybrid. Why, I don't know. Could be they changed the suspension design. Could be because of the heavier weight, different tires. But on the street, unless you're hitting potholes or rough pavement, the ride on this vehicle is pretty comfortable. As we do in all of my videos, we're going to take some mild speed bumps around 20 miles per hour to evaluate the suspension performance on impact. We'll have this in the comfort mode. Here comes bump number 1. Didn't feel that, heard it. Bump number 2. Pretty smooth. Number 3. And here's the big nasty one coming up. Yep, felt that one. That had more to do with the tires than the suspension. Even though the power steering on this car is electric, it feels hydraulic, which means it feels excellent, regardless of the mode you put it in. Comfort, normal, sport, sport plus. Good feeling feedback either way. This is one area where the Japanese are ahead of the Germans, because if you've driven a German luxury car with electric power steering, you know they all suck. They just don't learn. You won't have any problems with this steering though. Let's put this in Sport Plus and see how it takes corners. Got a lot of body lean. A road racer, this is not. Made for comfort. And you do have a tire pressure monitor to make sure you're within specs. You also have an energy monitor, a reminder you're driving a hybrid. The non-hybrid LS500 with its 416 horsepower and 10-speed automatic is very, very quick. This one not as quick in 0 to 60, but it has massive amounts of torque thanks to the battery system. It can still pin you to the seat if you put it in the Sport Plus mode. So let's give it a go. Whoa! Felt that. I'd say that's quick enough. Nice brakes. We've been driving mostly in the city for the past 77 miles, getting 26.6 mpg. Pretty good figure, I would think. We're going to reset everything to 0 and take a highway trip. See if we can bump up the numbers a bit. If you do a lot of highway driving, this is the car for you. Very comfortable, low wind noise. The only drawback, if you want to call it that, in the normal mode there's a bit too much softness in the suspension. You might want to put it in the sport mode to tighten things up a bit. We're coming to the end of our trip. We're going to pull over and see what the fuel economy is. As a rule, hybrids don't do very good on the highway as far as fuel economy numbers. So it'll be interesting to see what we get. We racked at 115 highway miles, climbing from 1,500 feet to 2,500 feet elevation in the normal mode. 26.7 mpg, that's about the same we were getting in town. Not really a surprise. Like I said, hybrids don't really do well on a highway. It's city driving where they perform at best. We're going to reset the clock and take a return trip on the freeway. Maybe we'll get better luck this time. Going downhill around 1,500 feet in elevation. Should be good for something. Alright, we got 26.7 mpg going to, 29.3 coming back. Actually, it was 31 mpg coming back, but I put it in sport mode to do a lot of passing from the slow pokes that were blocking my way. So 29.3 or 31, you can figure out either way you want. Combine it with 26.7 divided by 2. And that will be your highway mileage. And so far we put on 321 miles. Yet we still have half a tank left, with 218 miles to go. Or so it says. So in theory, we can get 540 miles out of a tank, if you're driving on the freeway anyhow. So let's do a fuel economy recap here. The highway mileage of this compared to the non-hybrid LS500. This got 28 mpg, the non-hybrid got 27, not much difference there. But that's not surprising, hybrids just don't do well on the highway. That's just the way it is. Then we have mixed driving, where we got 25 to 26 on this, and around 18 to 19 on the non-hybrid. Definitely an improvement. And in hard city driving, the non-hybrid LS500 we drove last year got 15 mpg, and this one got around 25 to 26. The bottom line, if you do a lot of city driving, you'll see a fuel economy improvement over the non-hybrid LS500. Otherwise, you probably will not. So what's my take after driving this for a week? Me personally, if I was going to plunk down over 100 grand for this LS500, I'd get the non-hybrid. I'm more interested in power. I'm certainly not interested in fuel economy if I can afford a car like this. On the other hand, people are buying these, and if you have an Uber or Lyft service in Beverly Hills or Palm Springs, you want to drive around all the rich people in city driving and get better fuel economy in this little limousine, yeah, this might be the vehicle for you. It will certainly be good for that, especially with those massaging rear seats. They'll keep your customers happy and give you a big tip. So, hybrid or non-hybrid, take your pick. In the meantime, here's a video for the LS500 we drove that was a non-hybrid, and we also have a video on the LC500 sports car. Click and watch.